Welcome back to the 2024 Swine Web Hall of Fame induction ceremony. Today we have Kent and Barry Holden. Welcome to the 2024 Swine Web Hall of Fame, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us.
So you guys built a legacy together at Holden Farms. Let's take a trip down memory lane, Kent and Barry. Can you share the roots of Holden Farms and how your vision was conceived? What inspired you to start the journey? And how did you methodically build Holden to its current status?
Yeah, well, there are four of us brothers. We basically grew up on raising turkeys. That was our background for as we were going through school and college years. And um, our father was, I guess, would be the third generation on the family farm, and then we're obviously the fourth. And we have our next Barry sons, and I have one son in the business, considered the fifth generation. And I don't know, we raised turkeys. We meddled in a little bit in little cattle, beef cattle, and a few other endeavors. But turkeys was our mainstay. Not really crop farming at all. And then they're four of us brothers. We all spent time on the farm all through our college years, and then after that, eventually all four of us brothers came back to the farm in the 70s, and I guess by 1979 our youngest brother joined, and then we worked together for those years from early 70s up until about 1990. And we all had different paths. We all wanted to kind of do different things. Barry and I were more on the same path as far as continuing raising turkeys and pigs. We'd grown quite a bit in the pig business by that point. And so then 91 was kind of hallmark year as far as when we split up the business, and the youngest brother and the oldest brother went their own direction, and Barry and I stayed together and decided we wanted to. The turkey business had gone through a lot of turmoil, a lot of volatility price wise, and it was really tough. In the early 80s, it was a very difficult. About 3 years was really challenging time, and then like Barry can remember better than I can, but about 84, 85, we decided we had about 1,000 sows at that time, and turkeys again were still our primary business, and we decided we wanted to try to balance out between turkey and hog production. So we started expanding that, and then the four of us brothers, like I said earlier, were kind of going different directions, and in 1991 we decided to. Barry and I decided we'd keep the hog production and about half the turkey production, and the other two brothers kept turkey production and feed milling and some other operations that they were working on as well.
So from a family farm perspective, kind of when you reflect on the evolution, what have you learned about the importance of the family farm in context with Holden Farms? Now that there's a lot of consolidation and expansion, reflect on the family farm part of it.
Barry, you want to take that?
Oh, go ahead.
Well, going back to 1991 when we split up the business, which was a challenging time for our family and getting through that, but we did manage to get through it. And Barry and I knew at that point that we wanted to expand our hog business even more than it had been. And we took that track, and there are a lot of opportunities, at least here in southern Minnesota and northern Iowa, that a lot of hog farmers that had buildings were struggling, and a lot of them were more than happy to work with contract systems. So we started building our business based on contract. We owned most of our sows at that point, but also started getting into contract sow production, and then pretty much used all of our nursery and finishing was done by contract growers, and so that we and then the same thing happened with feed mills. We didn't own a feed mill, so we had a contract with different mills in southern Minnesota, northeastern Iowa primarily, and there were a lot of excess milling opportunities. So we were able to capture those and build our business, and never really had a 4-year or 5-year plan or whatever. We just opportunities would show themselves to us, and we'd decide if we wanted to do this or do that. And more often than not, we say, yeah, we'll keep on doing things as long as we have interest and people that want to work with us.
So as
And I
you,
think, and then just to follow up on the family aspect versus a larger business, at that time, Barry and I, it was easy to make decisions. We didn't have a lot of bureaucracy we had to work through. We just would decide if we wanted to, if an opportunity showed itself, we would say, do we want to do this or not? We would have to go through a lot of committees or other board meetings or anything. And then for the most part, I think we did pretty well as far as picking out the right ones and trying not to make too many mistakes, which we did. We made wrong choices from time to time, and then you have to learn from those and build your business based on that kind of strategy. Today it's a lot different. It's a lot different business we have today. We have 72,000 sows and still maintain turkey production and have ownership and not a turkey plant as well as a pork processing plant. So
so as
I
you
can
guys,
embellish. I can embellish a little bit on the family aspect. The early '80s, as Ken alluded to, and I'm sure you're aware of, were very difficult for the family farms. A lot of people lost their land, and of people were looking for an outlet to keep their families intact and keep the family farm going. And so it became ripe for contract production. And that's what we wanted to do too, as well. So we didn't want to own all those facilities and owned all that land. We weren't even physically capable of doing that. So they jumped on our back and we carried them through, and then they became kind of the foundation. But it was all family farms that we worked with. There was no like corporate entity that was building barns or anything like that. It was every individual family farm, and so all the contracts. That was one of my jobs, is dealing with those families, and most of them were looking to keep their son or daughter in the business and then to maintain their family farm. And it really worked well for what we were planning to do as well.
is there any sibling rivalry? Do you guys have any stories to share about each other?
probably not in public, but we can. No, I was trying to think about what I'd have for a story, and I think first of all we kind of we agreed on our roles, what Barry was going to do and what I was going to do as far as what we're going to contribute to the business, and some things like marketing and building a new farm or whatever, we do that together. Then as far as the marketing, if one of us made a mistake and was more influential than the other, then we could at least share the blame for that. But if it worked out to be the right decision, then of course then we could say, well, we both made that decision and worked out well for us. But one little story I remember about Barry, we always at that time we were working with just one or two packers, and then we were always trying to see if we could have more opportunity working with other packers. And I remember one meeting we had, this was probably 25, 30 years ago, with a packer who I can't even remember which one it was. And we explained that we wanted a certain contract with paying this benefits and what we could do as far as delivering so many pigs. And the packer representative said, well, if we gave you that contract, that would be the highest contract anybody got. And I know Barry responded saying, well, somebody's got to be the highest contract receiver. So that's, I remember that story. And of course, the packer didn't know how to respond to that. And, but it gave us, I think it showed that we were always trying to find something that would work better for us and hopefully make our business stronger.
Anything for you, Barry?
Well, I didn't know the basis of your question, the sibling rivalry between Kent and I, or prior to that with the four brothers together, there definitely was. Kent and I were the two middle children, and an older brother and a younger brother. And we had a hard time, getting along at that time. And that's the end that we did eventually break off. They went on their own, and we went on our own. But consequently, we still are raising the turkeys the same place we were, except we're contracting with my brother now rather than him being in ownership. And the reason, the rivalry with Kent and I was actually pretty healthy. We really were different facets of the business, and the reason that we grew and got better and bigger was because we each did our own separate thing, but would collaborate on things that needed to be collaborated on, like price of grain or adding a sow farm or such like that. But Kent was in charge of production, and he did that pretty much on his own. And I was in charge of the contracts with the packers, with growers, and some of the corn and meal too. But Kent would also be involved in those as well. And I did all the kind of the paperwork part of the business, the accounting kind of business that Kent was not as interested in. So we had a really good symmetry, and more symmetry than rivalry. And it was that's the reason that we were successful, in my opinion.
And part of the reason why you guys are inducted into the Hall of Fame is you've risen to a pork powerhouse state, one of the top producers in the country. You guys work hard, and you guys realize the vision together. So what year did that align? Because I know you started with more turkeys, you wanted to even it out. Now you have more pigs. What was the pivotal year, or was there one?
Well, it was one of the reasons that we did kind of break up on our farm when the four of us together around 89 to 1990. We had gotten out of our financial trouble. We had balanced out our production. And my oldest brother and my youngest brother, who are not in Holden Farms, had different ideas of what they wanted to do. But Kent and I were aligned at that point. We knew that we wanted to grow the hog business. We thought there was more opportunity in it, and more reasons to grow and ability to grow. The turkey business is controlled by not very many people, and it can be pretty tough. And so we wanted to concentrate on then. So the year would be right in the 89 to 90 area.
Did you have a roadmap that you guys outlined to achieve the success, or was it kind of you guys knew the vision and you guys just took it day by day and just kept working hard, or did you have a plan?
Well, 91, after we made the official breakup and Barry and I were on our own, we went to a different office in downtown Northfield, Minnesota here. And we knew we wanted to do growth, like Barry just mentioned. And just coincidentally, we had these farmers that had gone through a tough time, and there's opportunity there. There's a fellow down in southern Minnesota that owns some feed mills that really wanted to grow. He had done some collaboration with some other producers on the hog side, but he wanted to do something more significant. So we got hooked in with him, and he helped us really get off to a jump start as far as building some sow farms, and also furnishing him with more feed business. Obviously, he has I don't know 8-10 feed mills in southern Minnesota, northern Iowa that he wanted to use more feed business through those, and so it was a mutual benefit for the both parties, and so that, like I said, that kind of gave us a start as far as some expansion. And it just as you I'm sure well know, Jim, the hog industry is going through a lot of transition in the late 70s, 80s, and 90s. There's a lot of consolidation. Smaller farmers were looking either to get out or work with somebody on a integrated basis, and it all kind of just came together. In my opinion, it was a lot of exciting times. We weren't entrepreneurial. We just saw opportunities as they would come to us, and took advantage of it. So now we've got operations in southern Minnesota, northern Iowa, even some in Wisconsin.
So what about the family growth and culture? So you guys have kept it in the family. What's the vision moving forward? Are you going to keep it a family farm? What about the fifth generation of Holdens?
Oh yeah, definitely. That was the plan. Barry and I have transitioned essentially all of the ownership to the next generation, and there are three active Holdens. I have a son, and Barry has two sons in the business today, but there are other siblings on my side, and Barry's as well, that are also in ownership. So we think we've taken care of that part of it pretty well, and we have real faith in the three that are here that are operating the business today. And they've experienced some tough times market wise, health challenge wise in the last 2 or 3 years, and and they've come through that so far real well. So we have confidence that they are going to be successful going forward and be able to make the business sustainable for years to come. What happens 15, 20, 30 years from now, who knows what'll happen? Something will be different than it is today for sure. But right now, we think they're in our business in good hands, and we've also got a lot of the real competent people helping lead and manage the business.
But we definitely hope that some of my grandchildren and Kent's grandchildren will be involved. Certainly not all of them will be, but hopefully that there will be a few that will be interested so that they can continue it on. All the stock, as Kent said, is held in family hands, even if they don't work there. We haven't made that a stipulation. So it can give opportunities, even if they don't want to work there. Maybe their children would, or one of their children will. So the groundwork is laid. They can choose to do it. The entry will not be hard to get into. And that's what we want to have happen. If the family can keep a good foothold into the business.
Is there a cultural foundation that you've built?
Oh yeah, we should. I certainly believe so. Really, starting from our parents and the values that they had and working with them overall growing up, and I think they're pretty well established values that both Barry and I have continued to hold, and I believe that the next generation also has those similar values about how to treat each other, treat other people in our company, treat our partners that work with us on the outside of the business, and yeah, it's we feel that that's established, and I think day-to-day operations we see that happening.
So I feel like to have success, we all have to go through adversity. Is there a specific challenge or adversity that contributed to your success, or additionally share an experience that set you back but taught you a valuable lesson?
Well, I know certainly. Go ahead. You want me to go, Kent?
Well, I was just going to mention, we've talked about it a couple of times already, but the split with the two brothers, that really was a springboard, in my opinion, to really, we took off in a different direction as far as the business and what we were clear and we wanted to do. Like Gary said, we had a similar philosophy, we had similar goals, what we wanted to accomplish. And so that part was easy. And we still had to go through working with packers and tough markets and disease challenges and so forth. But we knew that we wanted what we wanted to do, and we made it happen as best as we could. So that was one thing that happened, and that was probably one of the key parts as far as our Holden Farms business.
Yes, that's definitely true. It's true for me too. I mean, the way that we had to split up is that we in a lot of ways had to buy them out, and so we ended up with a lot of debt. But it really gave us a purpose. It really gave us a purpose to what we needed to do, as well as grow. We had to take care of the debt and take care of paying off the family members. So it really kind of set us in motion, and with purpose.
So with that, are there three keys to success that you think are essential elements to Holden Farms, or how you've handled that success? Any take homes that people can take from this?
Well, in my opinion, being honest, forthright, trusting not only team members but everybody we work with, and the support that we want to provide for anybody involved in our company. Is just that's what makes who we are, and aside from those kind of values, I think we really focused for many years just on being a real efficient, low cost producer, and that was a real key to our success. And we really focused on dedicated ourselves to being as best as we could in that manner.
And willingness to accept adversity too, because in agriculture, you're going to get adversity unexpectedly and often, it seems. So, but we were willing to accept that. We had grown up yeah, on the farm, working on the farm, and we knew that how things went bad, and we have never just said, "Well, let's just sit in our hands and not do anything." When things go bad, you just have to work harder. You have to dig down, and you have to make ends meet.
The true entrepreneurial spirit. It's kind of how you handle the challenging times is I think the
That's the
key.
most important time. That's the most important.
Did you guys have any role models?
Well, our father was really a hard worker and just um, kind of a no nonsense kind of guy. Even though he liked to have fun, you knew you were going to work all day. You weren't going to say, "Oh, see you later," at 1 o'clock in the afternoon and go swimming or something like that. But he just really had a strong work ethic. Both he and my mom did, and that was really important for me at least. And I learned from them.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I think the other thing about my father, especially then, he just had a can do attitude. He would never give up. If something wasn't going right, he'd figure out a way to make something happen that needed to happen. And he and my mother are a good balance for each other. My mom was always trying to look on the bright side of things and be positive about things. For me, also, Al Lehman was a key person when I was growing up and starting a hog business, and he made it a lot of fun. It was really exciting when we had a close relationship working together on the farms. But he was all the biggest part that he gave to me was he's always challenging us so we could do more and we could do better, and that was really that was instrumental in the way I looked at the hog business.
What about any unheard stories? We know a lot about the stories of Holden. Is there anything we don't know about the journey?
Um, I don't know. I just I think we always want to be low profile. We aren't seeking a lot of publicity or want to be uh, out in the public and people aware of us, even though it happens when things go wrong, permitting a farm or whatever. It just happens. You get your name in the paper pretty quickly. Uh, a lot of people today, I don't think, realize that our foundation was a turkey business. That's how we really got started, and that's a relatively smaller part of our company right today. But I don't know if everybody understands that. We try to do as much as we can helping the local community and even outside from the community. We want to try to be as supportive we can in what we can do to help that way.
Don't you want to tell them about your noon ball, Kent? I don't think anybody knows about that. Huh?
You got to tell about all your boats then too.
Well, sure.
Yeah, we'd have fun. There are two colleges in town here that open up their gyms for basketball over the lunch hour, and I and other employees would frequently go down to let off some steam, so to speak, and we had a lot of fun doing that.
Sure.
And Barry was busy with his boats, so yeah, all over. Tell him about that.
Well, I didn't get started later to that though, but that's really not a Holden Farm story. That's a almost a retirement story there, the boating. But I do enjoy boating. I have a few boats, so I
You,
carry on with that.
well, Ken said it best, low profile. I know you guys are humble, you work hard, and what about the next generation? Do you have any words of
Yes.
advice to the people entering the industry or how you see the changes in the industry? Is there something optimistic that we can address?
Well, first of all, I think that we have the infrastructure, we have the people in place, and so we have a solid ongoing operation right now. And now we just need to have the management, the leadership, and the goal setting that is necessary. And I think we have that in place pretty well right now with the three young guys that are here. They know what they want to do. The other thing, when Barry and I were just here alone, it was more like I said earlier, entrepreneurial. We just if we had an opportunity to do something, we'd do a back of the envelope type calculation to see if it was worth doing and move on from there. Today it's a lot different. We've got a lot more people involved, a lot more pigs involved, so we got to be more precise and more efficient, more knowledgeable about what we're doing. I think we've upgraded significantly from where we were. It's necessary today to have a better knowledge of what the numbers are and what's going on. And we worked hard at research. We have research barns and try to make decisions based off of that. But I guess the other really important thing is that hopefully the values that we've lived by and we think are in the next generation will continue on. And that's that when tough times get tough, that's what you have to fall back on and make sure that people are working together and we have leadership to get the team through the whole endeavor and through the challenge. And I believe with that, we, along with focusing on low cost, I think we can be long lasting in our industry.
Do you feel the same way, Barry? Anything to add to that?
Yeah, I think that just what's in light of what's happened in the last 2 or 3 years with the corn price and then the disease things and the things that are looming on the horizon, that you have to be willing to face adversity and be able to almost embrace it. That this is bad things are going to happen. Don't think that it's just going to be all roses, because it's not going to be. There's going to be a lot of thorns, and these young kids today, I think ours are special. I think they know, they've been around, and especially they got a full blast in this last 2.5 years of how bad things can get and how quick they can get, especially with our size now. And if they can hang in there with this, they can hang in with the best of them, and that's what they're going to have to do. I know a lot of young people are not that way. They just hide in their phone or wherever they do. But I think ours are special in the ones that they are willing to face adversity and work through it.
So we're going to wrap up reflecting on the honor. How does it feel to be inducted into the Swine Web Hall of Fame?
Well, from my standpoint, seeing that Joe Connor, who I know well, and Bill Prestige, who we knew well as well, I feel real humbled and honored to be included in this group. So thanks for inviting us to be part of that. So I feel real honored to be included.
Yeah, I as well, and I appreciate that Kent asked me to be with him on this honor. I know Kent is the face of Holden Farms. He goes to the meetings. I wasn't a meeting kind of person. I was more of a stay at home and do what I was supposed to be doing. But I really appreciate that Kent included me on this. And also in the company, in 1980, we went to visit Bill Prestige. We knew him through the turkey business, and it was a real eye opener to see his and how he worked and how he related with people, and his visions. And that week that we spent with him was really instrumental in how we looked at the future. That there was a lot of possibilities, and so I'm really honored that Bill was honored in the same way.
Yeah, I was going to mention that as well. That trip we took in the early 80s, my older brother and Barry and I went to North Carolina, and Bill was just, I can't remember how many sows he had, but we thought they're big operations. I don't know, they had 2,000 sow farms or whatever it was, and we thought that was just huge. But the way he approached the business and how he worked with other people and how he treated people, and the energy and enthusiasm he had he was in the turkey business as well for both industries and for the people and the opportunities, that was also a real key point in my business life. And coming back from that, I tried to apply a lot of those same ideas and strategies to our business, including contract farming. I think we were one of the first contract hog growers here in Minnesota, and that was really based on what we learned from the Prestige, from Bill Prestige.
See, more information. We keep learning, right, Barry?
That's right. Exactly right.
Well, Kent and Barry Holden, really appreciate you joining us today, and welcome to the Swine Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Thanks,
It's an
Jim.
honor.